Hey YouTube, Denise here from Dueling Bunnies, and this is actually going to be part 2 of Let's Talk About Gravekeepers. If this is my first video, this will actually be a video response. The link to this video will be probably in the description or somewhere in the video. But I want to do a few shout-outs to some of the people that contributed to the channel. First shout-out's going to go to the First Calling. I want to thank him for the comment that he made on the channel in regards to Plague Spreader. Very good, I must try it. Zombie Master Sasu for his comment about putting Gen X Ally Birdman in there. Great tech card, guys. You should definitely check out doing that. Also, Scapegoat User. He commented thanking about the video that he learned from it and whatever. Thank you. I hope that you enjoy these videos. Check out his channel. Yugi Dudes, awesome. GK Pride, check out his channel as well. And shout out to this particular person because this is what inspired me to actually make this part 2 in the manner that I'm going to make it. Miss King Adams, they commented asking a question actually, and it was, what will you do against Dark Worlds? So this video is for them and for you guys as to this part 2, which is going to be titled Sighting. Gravekeeper decks are very adaptable decks, guys. Every format we will adapt. Gravekeeper. They thought that Gravekeepers were gonna stink this format with the 3 MSTs and Heavy Storm, but honestly, we find ways to work around those things. There's Malefic Stardust Dragon to protect Necro Valley. If you don't want to use Malefic, then you can make your deck extremely fast to just go off. There's also ways to negate things, it just works. My Gravekeeper deck rules this format. I mean, I'm doing great at locals every weekend, so I really don't see the problem with Gravekeepers adapting. Now, here's the deal, though. When Dark Worlds come out, the new structure deck, which is this month, I believe, it's gonna take a turn. Now, a lot of people have thought or forecasted, I guess you could say, that Gravekeepers will die once the Dark World structure deck comes out. And I seriously think that that's the biggest load of crap I've ever heard in my life. Gravekeepers are actually going to be played well against Dark Worlds if we know how to play them. And here's where a lot of people are a little scared, I guess you could say, about Dark Worlds. Is the fact that because of Royal Tribute actually helps Dark Worlds. And that's what Gravekeeper duelists need to recognize. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to get rid of Royal Tribute from your deck. No, I know an interesting combo that I'm pretty sure will wreck Dark Worlds. And it's all in your side deck, guys. You might lose the first game against the Dark World Duelist. Obviously, you don't know that you're playing Dark Worlds until you get in there. So once you know that you're playing Dark Worlds, it's all about knowing how to side, as well as playing fairies, as well as playing other decks. So this side deck is extremely important. I'm going to pinpoint some cards that might help you when you're playing Dark Worlds and other decks out there. We'll get started. Now, this is my side deck as of now. Obviously, Dark Worlds are not, very popular. I've never played a Dark World deck at locals yet. Really, what I'm playing a lot of is Agents, Light Sworns, Chaos Variants, Plants, and stuff of that nature. So these are cards that help me against those kind of things. This is what I'll talk about, but I will also talk about cards that you could side in for Dark Worlds when they come out. Now, 2 Effect Veilers. Effect Veiler is a really good card this format. Obviously, we have a lot of boss monsters. We have Hyperion, we have Archlord Christia, we have Judgment Dragon running around, Blackluster Soldier, Chaos Sorcerer, things of that nature. And their effects are pretty beastly when they come out. Now, obviously, you want to try to prohibit them from coming out, but let's say they do. Let's say the other duelist manages to get over your defenses and bring out their boss monster. What do? Well, you could always, stop the effect. Effect Veiler, you do lose a card from hand, but it's a plus in a way for me because it saves you for a turn. Everything happens in the main phase, guys. Usually everything happens in the main phase. So definitely Effect Veiler is a great card to be using now in the format and more formats to come. Now, another card that I use, but this is because of my locals. There's a lot of Gravekeepers, a lot of mirror matches going on in my local, so Puppet Plant is what I'll use. Also, there's been gadget play offering gadgets and stuff of that nature in my locals. So this is more of like pinpointed towards my locals, but this is what I'll use. It's the same thing as Puppet Plant. Next card I use Spirit Reaper is somewhat of a tech, but I'm probably going to take this card out for something else. Spirit Reaper has helped when my opponent is very aggressive and like attacking all the time and trying to get over my field through brute force. Spirit Reaper has always helped me in that, where, you know, obviously it's not destroyed by battle, so now they have to change their game style to be more spell and trap heavy, I guess, to get rid of Spirit Reaper. The time that I'll side Spirit Reaper in is when my opponent is a brute force kind of person, where they attack, and, you know, they really don't rely so much on spells and traps to win them games. So I'll tech in him. This card is what I really need to talk about, guys. Now, this goes to Miss King Adams. When Dark Worlds come out, this card is going to go in. Now, obviously people are going to say, oh, well, you know, that card is dangerous for you, it hurts you, you don't want to use this card. But, honestly, guys, there's ways to get your removed from play monsters back. It's not like they're gone forever. Now, you obviously need to know what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and there's a card called Return from the Different Dimension. You have 100 life points, and you pay half of that, you're still in the game. You still have 50 life points, and you get to special summon as many of your remove from play monsters as possible during, you know, and then, you know, and that's when you'll go for game. So, guys, Dimensional Fissure is gonna go off like crazy when Dark Worlds come out. Think about it. You use Royal Tribute with that card with Dimensional Fissure, and it's a deadly combo. Obviously, I usually do this where sometimes I'll have Royal Tribute first turn, but I have a very decent hand of monsters that I don't want to get rid of at the time, so I'll wait a turn. You don't have to Royal Tribute first turn. I usually like to set as many monsters as possible before I hit them with a Royal Tribute anyway, because, you know, I'm really good at reading opponents when they have monsters in hand and when they don't. So I know when to play Royal Tribute. But when you have Royal Tribute with Dimensional Fissure, what that does is you basically just use the card that would technically benefit them, but royally screwed them with Dimensional Fissure, because it's all going out of play. It's not going in the graveyard, so they don't get their effects. So that's an awesome, awesome card that you definitely want to be stacking up on, I guess. It also ruins agents because Hyperion doesn't have any cards in the graveyard to use its effect. Archlord Christie as well, Judgment Dragon. So there's a lot, you know, of decks that you could really hurt using this card. And I'm also talking about other cards that you could use. Another card that I'm citing right now is Light Imprisoning Mirror. It's great against, again, Lightsworn's agents and, you know, other decks that I'm playing, like Chaos decks and stuff that have a lot of lights in them. Light Imprisoning Mirror works. It totally wrecks agents, so I play that. And next, I play Trap Dust Shoot. Also, Trap Dust Shoot could work with Dark World because you're not throwing a card into the graveyard, you're actually putting it back in the deck. So you get to not only see their hand, but you get to pick one monster card and put it in their deck and shuffle it. So it's not going to get its effect because it's going into the deck, unless, obviously, you know, have a card that says otherwise. So this is a good alternative too. You get to see their hand, and you get to see, you know, okay, what are their possible plays, and see and hope that you can stop that somehow with what you have. And Mind Crush. I don't know how Mind Crush is going to play out with Dark Worlds just yet, because they are discarding a card from their hand. So it gives them a plus in a way, because that card's effect will go off once it hits the graveyard in a way. So Mind Crush might not be such a great tech choice against Dark World, guys. I know a lot of people are saying that the whole Trap Dust Shoot with Mind Crush combo is amazing. Yes, but if it's a monster that you're going to be declaring, you definitely don't want to do that. It will probably work with their spells and traps. So, you know, if you hit their field spell card, that would be, you know, an okay alternative. If you hit, you know, another special spell or trap that they might have at the time, that's another good way to use Mind Crush. But never, ever, ever use Mind Crush against their monsters. You don't want to do that with Dark Worlds. And Return from a Different Dimension, obviously, to bring back your remove from play. This might go up to in my side deck if when Dark Worlds come out, I would have to see how that goes. But something else I wanted to say about Mind Crush, not only for Dark Worlds but for other decks. Mind Crush is great because against agents as well, and this is something that probably a lot of people haven't thought about with Mind Crush. When they bring out Earth, that's their tuner, obviously. Earth is going to search another agent out. They're going to most likely search Venus. Now, Venus gives them two to three mystical shine balls, and then they form Gachi Gachi Gentetsu. Now, that's a big play that you really want to stop because Gachi Gachi gives them a plus in attack and defense, and you don't want that to happen. So, when they search with Earth, they bring Venus to hand, you just flip Mind Crush. And you declare the Venus that they just searched. Obviously, they're going to have that in their hand, so they have to discard all the declared cards to the graveyard. So, you know, that whole Venus play is royally entirely screwed. So, Mind Crush is really good against that. What else can I say? Now, other cards that will work against Dark Worlds, I guess, would be Macrocosmos. That's a great card. Let me get up on here to show you what the card looks like. Hopefully you guys can see everything okay. Here we go. It's a trap card. It says the effect is you can special summon one Helios, whatever, from your hand or deck when you activate this card. You don't have to, though. While this card is on the field, any card sent to the graveyard is removed from play instead. So it's a good trap card that you could be using. Also check out this person. Let me see if I can find them. I think it's Underworld 6667. They just made a great video about Dark Worlds. We'll find it. Here it is. Dealing with Dark Worlds. Draco DMD is actually who it is. Link is going to be in the description. It's called Staying on Track SOT Dealing with Dark Worlds. Guys, really check out his video. It's an amazing video, and I've definitely learned about a lot of cards called also Karma Cut, which I never thought about actually until he pinpointed it. I'm like, that will actually work. There's a lot of cards that he mentions there that are going to be great against Dark Worlds that you can always stick into a Gravekeeper deck. Now remember, it does somewhat hurt you removing from play cards, but if you know when to use Dimensional Fissure and when to use Macrocosmos and when to activate things, and you play smart, it will be of a great advantage to you, and you can always push for the game with them. So definitely check out his video. I hope that some of the cards that I spoke about here will help you out as well. Let me know in the comments, though. Sometimes I'm new to the game, so sometimes I don't know about cards that might actually work better than Dimensional Fissure and other things like that that won't hurt the Gravekeeper deck so much. Let me know in the comments. I would love to try out some of the cards that you guys pinpoint. Also, feel free to leave a video response as to what your side deck is if you're running a Gravekeeper deck, or if you're running any deck, what your side deck is at this point. And also, let me know in the comments below what are you thinking about the whole Fossil Dyna and Dark World, X-Saber Dark Soul reprint. I'm kind of excited about the Fossil Dyna one, but anyways, that's off topic. Be looking out for part 3 where I'm going to be talking about the extra deck. It's very important in Gravekeepers. A lot of people don't think that Gravekeepers can go off with Synchro Summoning and Exceed Summoning and all that of that nature. I'm going to show you that there's a lot of plays that you can do. So be looking out for part 3. Again, comment, rate, and subscribe. Go click on the other channels that I just shouted out. Give them a subscription just for helping out on the channel. And see you guys later. Bye.